Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And it's very difficult to follow that, but I will also likewise encourage this legislature that the facts have been explained today. You have witnesses, you have the evidence, you had the claim, but now you have the proof. And with that, the law is on your side. The remedy is on your side, and it's in your hands. And so when you have attorneys, you have other fellow members, you have anyone else in the fake news media, whoever it is, telling you that you cannot act or that you should sit idly by and simply allow the certification to go through, that is absolutely false. And when our founding fathers, who themselves had an incredible act of moral courage that lasted for years, when they wrote the Declaration of Independence, they all unanimously signed it, pledging their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor. Yeah. And that has been the pledge of every American who has understood that they provided the mandate in the Constitution to protect and preserve liberty and freedom and the greatest country on the face of the earth that we experience as the United States of America today. And the reason that they provided the mechanism in Article 2, Section 1.2, is to give you, the state legislatures here in Arizona, and we would call on Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Georgia, Michigan, and Nevada, and possibly others, to recognize that you are the sole guardian to combat a corrupted election. And there was a purpose and a design for that. Because when the founders understood the separation of powers, when they understood that the human heart is corrupt, and they understood that there would always be attacks upon our liberty and freedom, they wanted to make sure that the will of the people in the selection of our president, our chief magistrate, would be vested in a body that is separate from that corruption and could look honestly at what happened and be fact finders. You have been fact finders here today. And the mayor and I have both practiced criminal law, me a little bit less than he has, just a few years behind him. And we have a standard in criminal law called beyond reasonable doubt. And every jury that I've spoken to, as both a prosecutor and then a criminal defense attorney, we have the definition of reasonable doubt. And it's a doubt that's not vague, imaginary, or speculative, but a doubt that causes a reasonable person to hesitate to act in matters of importance concerning themselves. Why is your governor and your secretary of state not hesitating to act? There is more than reasonable doubt here on the certification of this election. There is so much evidence that we've been denied the opportunity to present in court that you've only heard a fraction of it today. And you don't have to have a standard beyond a reasonable doubt in order to reclaim your Article 2, Section 1.2 authority. The Constitution does not provide a standard of law. It simply empowers you to act. And I would encourage and argue and charge you that this was given expressly to you for the sole purpose of making sure that the people that you represent here in the great state of Arizona are not disenfranchised by corruption. The law is on your side, and also it's in accord with federal law. In the explanation and the packet that we gave to you earlier on the brief explanation of the law, it also is in accord with federal law. Section 2 of Title 8 provides that when any state has held an election for the purpose of choosing electors and has failed to make a choice on the day prescribed by law, the electors may be appointed on a subsequent day in such manner as the legislature of such state may direct. You have not had an election that was held in the manner that you prescribed through the General Assembly. Every person that has testified today, whether it's a fact witness or an expert witness, has given you a reasonable and rational basis to declare and find as a matter of fact that your law has been ignored and intentionally disregarded. You can make that finding, and you should make that finding, and you should, according to not only federal law, but the U.S. Constitution, which is our supreme law of the land, and make that finding that you are reclaiming your delegates and that you will then certify them and choose them, appoint them in the manner that you as the state legislature designates. That is your authority. And don't let anyone tell you differently, because that is our United States Constitution that was specifically provided by our founders. This is not a political question. Of course, we love our president. We are here on his behalf, but we are also here as American citizens. And I can tell you directly from my conversations with the president, and of course the mayor can as well, that he cares not just about this election, but about every future election. We have to preserve and protect election integrity, and it is up to the courage, as the mayor said, of every man and woman in the state legislatures that see this corruption to act. You have the ability and the authority to act. It's just a matter of having courage. This is not a political question. It's a legal one, and it's an American one. Thank you.